Greetings, my human friends. This is Rudolf, the tall white alien. Matrix, the magical word. All of you have heard of it. Many of you speak of it without really knowing what it is. Certainly, if you Google it or look it up, you will find out that the word matrix has different meanings and applications. It's been used in medicine, mathematics, physics, computer science, and so on. It's really not easy to pinpoint and grasp the meaning of it. Today we are only concerned with the psychological meaning of it, and therefore I would like to give you, in a very simple form, some explanation. There are basically two different forms of psychological matrix which apply to the human being. First, the personal one, the personal matrix you live under, which is a construct of your own karma which you carry with you from your lives before, convictions and beliefs, and personal weaknesses which you have, which has been in a very specific form built up over many, many lifetimes, and your consciousness is carrying these particles of subconscious elements around until you finally clean yourself up of them. These elements of karma and the experiences you make during the lifetime right now, in the environment you live right now, will make up the boundaries of your existence, of your reality. There you say, I can go this far and not further. I have this limitation and that limitation, and I also have this talent or this knowledge, and there it stops. This is your personal matrix which you have built up through many lifetimes, and specifically also to the circumstances of your life right now. I call it the personal matrix, the web you are caught in because of the circumstances which are natural boundaries of your life. If you run against a tree in the dark, you're certainly going to hit your head. If you put your hand over a candle, you're certainly going to burn yourself. If you drink too much alcohol, you're certainly going to get drunk. All these things are laws you have to obey by, laws which each single one very personally will experience and will be guided by. These are the experiences and these are the frameworks of every human and any other animal roaming this planet and any other one. That's the personal matrix. But besides this personal matrix, there is the one most of you relate to as the matrix in psychology. And that's the collective matrix which I will speak of now. And it's the second one. First of all, as I said in the last video, there's a collective consciousness, a collective karma, which the human race has experienced over many, many thousands of years, certain laws and regulation by nature, and also made up by other humans who have been leaders of society, who have influenced the thinking and have influenced the politics and religion of big groups of people. This way they created boundaries and limitations where, as leaders, they decided the group has to live under. This is carried over when it comes to karma from one life to the other in a certain ethnic group. And then in the here and now, there are certain leaders of society who very consciously create boundaries of the mind of masses for their own profit and advantages. And in some cases, of course, people build matrices who are in high position in order to regulate the life of societies. Certain laws and order which people have to live by so they don't divulge each other, kill each other for egotistical reasons. So not all matrices which are built up by others, by power people, have to be necessarily bad. But there's an old saying that if somebody has total power, there will be also a total misuse and abuse of it. And this is exactly the point. People who are in power, and this is a small group, don't only use the power to regulate through a matrix of laws and through education the life of people to make it a civilized affair. They also go further because they are not only interested in regulating the affairs of people, but taking advantage of them by creating more than the necessary matrices to live together. Put their personal stamp onto the mind of the masses. And this is done by creating influences onto the mind, creating limitations, making people feel inferior, make people feel weak and dependent. This is the matrix, the collective matrix I'm speaking of. There are evil forces of people which call themselves illuminated, people who believe they have a clearer understanding of the circumstances of life, who then in turn try to influence the ones they believe are being naive and have no clear vision at all, giving them through a inferior education the feeling of competition to each other, and therefore create people with complexes, inferiority complexes, and pin people against each other. That's how it starts. Later on, they are bombarded with different medias, from newspapers over radio, television, computers, etc., constantly 24 hours, and giving them their version of the truth. How the world runs, who the world is run by, what is right and wrong, what is fashionable and what not, what is the moral code and which one is not, giving them through the means of media a distorted picture, which is purposefully distorted by them in order to create an illusion which you take as reality. And once you are going through this educational system and later be bombarded 24 hours for the rest of your life by a very small group of people who have only their own interest in mind, then you slowly, little by little, start falling into the trap of believing that what has been told to you. That is the matrix of psychology, which has been used by people to influence masses of other people. And you live in these boundaries and believe this is the world. If they tell you the world is flat, or the world is round, or there has been a man on the moon, or there has been a man on Mars, or there are aliens or none, all of this you work with in your mind, you build yourself an opinion about it in the boundaries which are the limits which are given to you, and this is then your reality. But none of this, of course, holds true. These evil forces which create these matrices are not the ones who are completely freed. These are not the magicians I have been speaking of, who came to the point of complete pure consciousness, realizing their own nature and building up on this own nature a simple world, which is the world of freedom and can be switched in and out of, and even interdimensional. These people have never really experienced being free of greed and selfishness, never came to the point of dissolvement and being nothing but mind itself. They never had this experience. What they had is the tools in their hand given by us, the tall white aliens, to create these delusions for their fellow human beings, and they have been, by my forebearers, been influenced to become the most greediest and selfish, but cunning group which can manipulate the vast rest of humankind. Not being able to be one with the universe, but being split off and being only a selfish race of people, they are cunning enough to use certain methods which are given to them of magic, of mental influence, of suggestion, in order to keep humankind at bay. These are not highly developed people. These are low-life demons who have extended their reign of power over mankind from one generation to the next, mostly tightly held in their own family surroundings, and try desperately to get more and more power and even more and more influence and money, even if there is no more need for it, even if they can never utilize these powers. It's because of a mental disease which these creatures live under, which let them believe that they are separated from the rest and that they are separated from the universe and the all which they in reality are in. This is the problem. Separation, as a last word, is always evil. Whatever separates, like these creatures, are always evil, and whatever comes together, glues together, comes close to each other, that is what is called love and compassion. Love brings together, and evil will separate. And these people separate you by pinning one against the other. Rudolf of Germany.